Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Charleston, and welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we got a pretty interesting show for you guys. I want you guys to stick around for. Please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Now, as y'all know, there were some blockbuster trades that just went down in the NBA. Most notably, the trade of Kevin Durant going from the Brooklyn Nets to the Phoenix Suns, and the trade that sent Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets to the Dallas Mavericks, right? The biggest trades by far of the trade deadline. And I heard Kenny Smith yesterday say this is probably one of the biggest NBA trade deadlines in terms of the amount of talent that was moved, especially star players, in one trade deadline, right? So it was pretty big. And various news networks were reacting to, those trades and how, they went down. And I was just watching the coverage of how it was being covered from various news networks. Kevin Durant seemed to be a little bit more on the positive side of things in terms of, how he was being covered, although some people were out there, still trying to, basically, go at him for saying, oh, KD needs a super team. He needs a super. Nick Wright had a very stupid stat. Every team that KD's been on has not had all of him, but he's just taking a shot at KD to prove, like, oh, KD, these guys are whatever, man. These guys, whatever. And as y'all know, Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Durant at one time used to be close. They used to be teammates with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They played together for a number of years, but it seems like those two gentlemen had a falling out, right? And I think it started when Kendrick Perkins started working on ESPN and started covering the game. And that's when friction started to begin between the two of them in terms of their relationship. And yesterday, it seemed like KD once again had enough with Kendrick Perkins and called him out, reacting to a Twitter post by Eaton Thomas. Eaton Thomas posted, "I am no GM, but if you have KD, Kyrie, and James Harden, and you end up trading all three, but don't get back any all-stars in return, you have failed as an organization. Brooklyn Nets fans should be livid at Joe Tsai and Sean Marks." Kendrick Perkins then goes under that picture and leaves a comment saying, "I respectfully disagree. Player empowerment, ? KD and Kyrie made all the decisions over there." Then Kevin Durant, easy money sniper, somehow saw it. I don't know how. And he said, "Ends like Perk make a living lying. Have some honor, homie." So that was the exchange between these two gentlemen there on Twitter. Now, here's my thoughts. This is something I've been thinking about for quite some time. It has become quite clear to me that the coverage that Kevin Durant and Kyrie get are pretty much always going to be negative. It's like the textbook is, okay, we only look for the negative in Kyrie. Whenever he does negative things, we talk about it. KD, whenever he makes a move, he makes a decision, we find a way to question his leadership, to question his commitment, and all of these different things. If you pay attention carefully, that's usually the storyline around these two guys, quite usually. Give you guys a perfect example of this. In the recent press conference, the introductory press conference when Kyrie Irving was being introduced as a Dallas Maverick, he spoke for about 15 minutes or so. And the only soundbite, the only line that they pulled out was, "I'm happy he is out of that place." Kyrie said a lot of things. He said a lot of things. But the only thing that was covered was he said, "I'm happy," in this case, in reference to Kevin Durant, that he's out of that place. And therefore, the cycle continues. Let's talk about what Kyrie means and how he's a distraction. Is it that Kyrie's a distraction, or some of you guys are always looking for things to make news out of and paint him as a distraction? Sometimes we got to ask the question, because he's not the one telling his story, is he? Is Kyrie covering himself on TV? Or am I mistaken? Or is it the people covering him? Is he the one analyzing himself? Or is it the people analyzing him? In my personal view, I said it on some of our lives, and I'm going to say it here again. Kevin Durant had no good reason to stay in Brooklyn. None whatsoever. He absolutely did the right thing. There's no good reason KD should have stayed in Brooklyn. And I'll tell you why. Number one, it benefits him in no way. Some people say, well, you can stay, go far in the playoffs, and then he'll do well, but then he'll lose. And then what does he ultimately gain? The respect from some people that generally don't respect him anyway. So that's dumb. Or he could decide, I'm going to go to a championship contender like everybody else is trying to do, either by going to championship contenders or creating championship contenders, and I'm going to try to win a championship. How about that? How about that on for size? And he did that, and I applaud him. Because literally everybody else was trying to do that exact same thing. Why is it different when it comes Kevin Durant's turn? Help me understand this. Kevin Durant is trying to stack a team. What the hell were they trying to do in LA? What were they trying to do by acquiring Kyrie Irving? So how's it different in this instant? Number one, to the quotes that Kendrick Perkins laid out by saying that, let me just quickly get to this. He said, oh gosh, let me get to the quote, because he said basically Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were the ones that made all the decisions. Oh, really? Did they now? Were they the ones that made the decisions? Okay, let me ask you a question. Did Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving hire Sean Marks? Did Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving fire Steve Nash? Did Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, did they trade James Harden? Did Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving, did they hire Jacques Vaughn? Help me understand this. Did they trade for Ben Simmons? Help me understand this. It was 100% in the organization's decision-making process. KD said, I don't want to be there. Brooklyn said, no, you just signed a contract. He reiterated to them, I don't want to be there. But if you guys want me to be there, please, can we get rid of the coach and the GM? They said no. They said no, and therefore they remained. So he made no decision. Then ultimately, they decided to fire him. Was it KD that fired Steve Nash? Help me make sense of it. No, they fired him himself. Was KD the one that employed Jacques Vaughn? It was not him, it was them. Was KD the one that told them to send Kyrie Irving home because he wasn't vaccinated and then call him back? Was that Kevin Durant's choice? I don't think it was. So why are we taking all of the responsibility off of the ownership? Why are we not going to talk about bad leadership and governance? Why are we not? Why are we putting it all on KD? Why is that with him? If it was the Lakers, they never talk about LeBron. They always say, well, it's always Rob Pelinka. Why is it different when it gets to KD? Help me understand. We talk about how lousy, at least they were saying, how lousy of a general manager Rob Pelinka was. That's what you guys were saying, not me. I didn't care that much. They were calling him a lousy GM. LeBron is being hamstrung by the organization. But then when you get to Brooklyn, they're making all of those ridiculous moves and it's KD's fault. Help me make sense of it, please. Why is it different when it comes to him? Why? What's going on here? I'm not a Kevin Durant fan by any stretch of the imagination. But if I'm looking at the situation objectively, one would ask some questions. So KD is correct. Factually correct. We're not talking in, hyperbolic language and using hyperbole to say things. Well, he made the decisions and then some fool will stand up and say, yeah, he did. And nobody fact checks. What's the checks and balances when we speak? Where are the checks and balances when we speak? So to me, it's absolutely ridiculous. 100% ridiculous. And Kevin Durant was 100% in his right to defend himself. And I think it just dawned on me why KD always speaks on social media. Do you know why? If he doesn't speak and he allows people to just run around talking about him, they'll paint his story for him. So he goes out there and says, no, that's not true. And they say he's being sensitive. He's correcting him. He's correcting him. It's not true. It's not true. Did KD trade Kyrie just now? No, help me understand. Did Kevin Durant trade Kyrie Irving from the Brooklyn Nets to the Mavs? Did he make Kyrie Irving request a trade? Did Kevin Durant do that? No. Kevin Durant said, I want to be traded. Kevin Durant never meddled in the business of the organization or anybody else. In fact, in fact, I thought KD has a record of being a good soldier, playing well, showing up, being consistent. Now all of a sudden he's the one that was meddling? Man, please. KD is 100% correct in this matter. 100%. Nobody's making excuses. We're just trying to be fair. That's that's my take on it. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section. We catch you on the next show. Peace.